Hey guys, welcome back to the Journal Channel. Today's entry, I want to talk to you about purpose and maybe a little bit of what it means to live. Not necessarily the meaning of life. I'm not going to be your fucking armchair psychologist here, but I do want to kind of give you some guidance. You know, a lot of people, especially nowadays in our current climate, especially if you live in America, it's difficult to figure out, particularly at a young age, what or who you want to be. And it's a difficult question. It's a loaded question. You know, it's a lot to think about because you've got your whole life ahead of you. You know, I do want to point out that these videos are very much targeted to someone growing, someone young. I'm not here to help the adults. If you're an adult, you should already have this shit figured out, or at least an idea. Purpose is something I kind of struggle with. I feel my purpose in life is to be a caretaker. It's kind of why I do videos like these, because I want to be something to someone. I want to be, at the very least, the reason someone gets through their day. If I can do that, then I've done something. You know, your purpose will be something unique to you. You know, no one can tell you what your purpose in life is other than you. It's something you have to figure out for yourself. And I feel like that can be a hard question to answer because life is so broad, you know. And it comes down to your own self doubts, your own beliefs about yourself, what you believe you can and cannot do, that sort of thing. Right? It's hard to find the words to describe this because purpose is a very broad term. You can define it as being a cog in a machine, just doing your part. You can define it as changing the machine and doing anything to correct the status quo in our world. You can define your purpose as anything. You can be a bad person, you can be a good person. I'm not going to tell you who and what to be. I'm telling you you should be a good person because that's the correct choice. But you don't have to be. You can be a terrible person if you want to be. Just know that makes you a terrible person. You know, you can do whatever you want. That's kind of the beauty about life. You can do and be whatever you want. No one can really tell you otherwise. I mean, your parents and people that care about you will try to guide you. You don't even have to listen to me. You know, obviously, I'm just some guy on the internet. My word doesn't mean a whole lot. But what I do know is this: going through life without a point, without a reason, is difficult. It is very hard to wake up in the morning and drag yourself out of bed if you don't have a reason to. If there's no reason to crawl out of bed and go do what you need to do, you're not going to do it. You know, obviously, why would you? Right? You know, what purpose is there? That's what I mean. You have to find a reason to wake up in the morning, and that could be anything. That could be a person. That could be your job. That could be taking care of your house, your children. It could be anything. It could be your own personal gain. You know, again, your job, money, self-improvement. There's a number of things that you could be doing to move up in the world. I touched on this in my last entry when I touched on the sort of totem pole analogy of what your priorities should be, right? Your priority in life should be self-betterment, right? Strive every day to be better than you were yesterday. There's a recent quote from Harrison Ford that says, "Create something that didn't exist yesterday." Use your talents to better the world one step at a time. And I think that's important. And I feel like that's what my purpose is. My job here is to make the world better little by little. And though I'm not excellent at it, and I may not be the most motivational person in the world, I feel I am slowly accomplishing my task, my purpose, right? So I want to give you a short list of things to kind of run through and say, I can do that. It can be, again, the things I listed earlier: your partner, your children, your job, your house. It can be anything. But just pick something and don't give up on it. You need something reliable and steady. That is the requirement for a life purpose. Something that you know will never leave you. And I want to clarify that because a lot of people that I know have been in pretty rough relationships they've had, unsteady housing situations, or this and that, many things, right? Lots of things can get in your way in life, right? Doesn't have to be your parents or anything, but it could be a lot of things. A lot of things can stop you from being happy and can stop you from fulfilling your purpose or whatever you've chosen. Your goals in life should be something potentially small, but you should have at least one overarching lifelong goal. That's why I constantly default to changing the world a little bit at a time, because that's something you'll never be done with. There's always one more thing to improve upon, one more thing to learn, one more talent to get better at. There's always something to do. And I think that's really important, because if there's nothing to do, once again, you've got no reason to wake up, right? Why would you bother with anything if there's no reason to do any of it? You have to acknowledge that life is a challenge, one that you will not always be up to, and that's okay. It is okay to be bested by life. It's difficult. It's difficult for all of us. There's no such thing as an easy life. It doesn't exist. And someone tells you that they have it easy, they're straight up lying to you, okay? That is entirely false, all right? Because no one has everything figured out. No one has all the answers. That's just not true. You can't possibly know all the answers. So don't pick something that you can't accomplish, but pick something that you can work towards. An incremental goal, like exercise or something like that. That's why I say self-improvement should be the top of your list, because it's the easiest. It's the easiest one to pick, because it's broad. There's lots of things that can fit under that, right? You gotta be flexible in your goals. You can't always pick the same one, because it's just not always going to work out that way. Things aren't always necessarily going to go your way, and that's okay. Life is hard. Life is a challenge. It's not supposed to be easy. Things are gonna be hard sometimes. It's okay to fall down. It's okay to fall short of this purpose you've set yourself. You're not gonna be 100% every day. That's okay. It's okay to fail. It's not okay to fall down and stay down. You can't just get knocked down and stay there. You have to be able to pick yourself up and say, I can do this. I know what I did, and I won't make that mistake again. And work towards this purpose. Because that's what drives you. If you have suicidal thoughts, depression, even anxiety or trauma of most kinds, a strong purpose will go miles in helping you cope with or conquer that problem. Depending on what it is. There's no conquering depression or anything, but you can cope with it. And though it may not help initially, it will do you wonders in the long run to have something established that you fight for. Something you stand by. It can be strong morals, it can be political beliefs, it can be religious beliefs. Anything that you can cling to that no one can take from you. That's probably the best way I can put it. You need to hold on to that and set it on fire. It is yours. No one can take it. That is your blazing determination. Let it burn you. Let it carry you to the finish, because that is your driving force for life. Your purpose should drive you. It should motivate you to get out of bed. It should motivate you to keep going every day. It should be the reason that you get up off the ground when you get knocked on your ass. That should be what purpose is. And if that's not what your purpose is, then you need to find a new one. Sometimes life hits us with challenges, big changes. Big things happen sometimes. You go through a breakup, or you lose a parent, or heaven forbid, a child. Terrible things can happen to good people and terrible people. And no one deserves to have these awful things happen to them. Tragedy strikes in the worst times. But when it does, you have to be prepared. And you cannot simply let it defeat you or define you. And I want to point out the difference between those. Defeat is, once again, failure to rise. If you get knocked down and you stay down, you are letting that thing that beat you truly beat you. And you will never be the same again unless you get back up. You have to be willing to pick yourself back up. Because if you can't do that, you're not going to make it. You're not. Especially in today's climate, where we've got all these horrible things going on all around us all the time. There's terrible news on Twitter. The president's an idiot. There's this and that and this and that. Everything's going wrong. And you have to be able to have some reason that stuff doesn't matter. There has to be some reason you can brush these terrible things away that gets you through the day, that says you can conquer it. For me, it is, again, helping people. My purpose is to make sure people are happy and cared for. I will not meet a single person and let them leave my presence sad. If I do, I feel like I failed. It is my job to make sure that everybody I meet leaves me a little bit happier. I'm not going to let them go anywhere otherwise. I will make sure that everybody I ever meet leaves me happier. Whether that's just a random chance encounter on the street where you just stop to talk to me for some reason. I'll make sure your day is better. Even if I just tell a simple joke and make you smile as you walk off. Your day had a good interaction right there. That's something. If I can just make one person smile, if I can change one person's mind, if I can make one person's day, getting up in the morning was worth it. Knowing that people appreciate me, even if they don't say it. knowing that I've done something is enough for me. It's an immense feeling to be the change. You might not feel the same drive. You might not feel like you're capable of helping people. And you know what? That's okay. Some people genuinely just do not have the capacity to help people because, frankly, I get it. It's very difficult to even take care of yourself these days. I understand. Trust me. It's difficult to do what I do sometimes. I find it a challenge. I'm sure we all do. It's not easy just being human. It's not an easy task. It really isn't. It's very difficult to just get around sometimes. Life throws a lot of bullshit at you sometimes, and you just kind of don't know what to do with it half the time. I get it. But if that's you, if you can't do what I do, I get it. I understand. What I do is very difficult. Because it is a challenge to take care of yourself and others. That's where a lot of people fail that task, because they lose sight of themselves and their whole purpose becomes helping people. I want to divulge here to emphasize the point of not losing yourself for your purpose. You are human. Recognize your limits and know that you are not unending. You can be worn out. You can be tired. It's okay to feel that way and feel those things. These feelings are normal and natural. Everyone has an off day. Everyone feels sad. It's okay to be that way. Just know that your purpose will keep you going. Know that you have this thing that will get you out of bed in the morning. And if it does that, that's good enough. That will be just fine. It'll do everything it needs to do. Watch this. Bonk. Anyway. Yeah, he's a ghost, by the way. Anyway. Anyhow. I want to emphasize that you cannot do it all. No matter what your purpose is, you will fail it. There will be days where you're not up to it. And that's okay. Everybody gets tired. Remember to take breaks. Remember to take care of yourself. You are just as important as whatever you're working towards. You cannot pour from an empty cup. If you aren't feeling well, there's nothing you can do but rest. You need it. You must rest. Your body will make you if you don't. I would also like to emphasize that you shouldn't rest too long. Because there's a difference in rest and bed rot. If you're like me and you do the same thing a lot, like my usual I'm done with the workday activity is this. I play video games. This is what I do. I come home. Well, I don't come home. I am home all the time. But I'll come to my room after I'm done in the kitchen, or after I'm done in the rest of the house just cleaning, after I'm done with my tasks for the day. This is my end of day routine. I'll pick a game and just kind of play it. I'll have fun. But if this is your usual, you need something unusual that you don't always do. Something out of the ordinary, that can be kind of a treat. Something that your brain can treat as a reward, as unusual, something you don't always get to do. Something that means you've earned it, right? That's important. Your coping mechanism cannot be something you do every day. For example, as much as some people will hate this, if your coping mechanism is talking to your partner all the time, or no, if your usual end-of-day routine is coming home and having a nice cuddle session or conversation with your partner, that cannot be your coping method. You need space. You need time to yourself. You cannot do the same thing every day. It will not work. You will still feel the drain of the routine. You need something that breaks routine, something unusual. Something that you don't do all the time. It has to be new and refreshing. So, in fulfilling your purpose, you need something that you can work towards over time. Something that is achievable, but not instant. A gradual goal. Something that is attainable, but requires hard work. That is the key. And if you can do that, you will achieve your purpose. But know, depending on what you choose, you will be able to achieve that purpose and have it fulfilled, in a sense. For example, my purpose is to be a caretaker. I have already achieved that. I am a caretaker. And so after that point, your goal becomes maintaining that purpose. Be consistent. Make a consistent effort, and you will be at peace. Because if you have an overarching goal in your life that you work towards all the time, something that you live for, then no one can ever take your happiness away, because it's not invested in them. It's not invested in their actions. It's not invested in other people. Your happiness is invested in you. So if your purpose makes you happy and you achieve it, you must maintain it. Otherwise, you will lose purpose. It's the same effect soldiers go through when they come home. When soldiers come home from a long deployment overseas, they often suffer from a lack of purpose. They aren't sure what to do. They didn't have necessarily plans. They didn't have an idea of what they would come back and do. They were sure they were going to die. They were prepared to die. Fully ready to give their life for our country. And that means that they weren't necessarily planning on coming back home and having a normal life. So if they do get sent home, they often return confused. That can be you if you're not careful. You can become like our loving soldiers. Lost. Our veterans can come home sad and lost, unsure of what to do with themselves. It's hard to come back to civilian life. That is the effect. It is hard to find new purpose. Especially if you've dedicated yourself to one for long enough. If you have the same purpose or drive for long enough, losing it or achieving it outright can feel empty, because now you don't know what to do with yourself. Everything feels empty and unsatisfying, because there's no point. Well, if you achieve your goals, then you need to set new ones. This is the danger of having a provocational purpose. If your job is your purpose, then you've already achieved it. It's just something you do every day. And so it can start to feel underwhelming and unsatisfying. I often encourage people to choose something that they cannot simply just achieve, something they must work towards. My goal, truthfully, is to have a family. Not necessarily kids. I don't want kids. I don't hate kids, but I would hate my kids because I know who I am and I wouldn't want to raise me either. However, if I had friends and siblings that could live with me, for example, my sister, who I care for deeply, we could all live together, and I could cook for them and clean the house and make sure their beds are made. That would make me so happy. That's what I want. I want the ability to say, I have a family. A family which is a group of people who aren't even related to me, that I know without a shadow of a doubt would kill a man for me if I asked them to. I need people that I can bury bodies with. I need people that I can cry with. I need people that, when I say I've had a bad day, will give me a hug, a pat on the shoulder, and won't ask questions. That's all. It's not a complicated ask. I need someone that cares. Someone that cares just enough to love me. But not even romantically. I don't need a partner. I just need people. People that care. And I have that. But I don't have them with me. I have to reach out to them. I can't just walk outside of my room and be surrounded by the people that love me. Not yet. They are difficult to achieve like this. It's not that simple, you know. However, my purpose and my goal are different. That is a topic for next time. But for now, that'll be all. Remember, your purpose should get you up out of bed in the morning. It should be the reason you carry on. Everybody has one. Everybody has something that they use as the reason that they do what they do. That is purpose. It doesn't have to be a goal or to see global change. It can be something as simple as loving your partner, or something as incredibly convoluted as changing the world. But it really helps to have a strong sense of what you want and who you want to be. Which is also a topic for another time. So, for now, that's all I've got. And I will see you all in the next entry. Have a good one.